All areas of a city continue to evolve with the advent of technology, including solid waste and water. Today I am joined by Rick Howard, Director of Public Works at the City of Orlando. Rick, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
So Rick,
nice to be here.
Well, we're really glad to have you here today. So let's talk about what technologies are we actually talking about that are used in solid waste to improve the process that you guys are doing right now. I think there's a lot of things happening. What kind of advanced technologies are we actually talking about?
Well, we collect about 160,000 tons of residential and commercial waste every year, so we have to be very efficient in the way we collect that and process it. We have implemented a great number of technologies like computerized route optimizations, and then we also have what we call a green fleet with hybrid trucks and compressed natural gas vehicles that collect all the waste. And we are experimenting with different waste to energy methods we're trying to implement. Right now, there's just so many different technologies, we don't exactly know which one to pick. And I think if we picked one, there might be something better a few months down the road. So we're looking at that, we're monitoring that, we're looking at all the new technologies there, and we're implementing a food waste program. We also give away free composters to our residents, so we try to reduce the amount of municipal solid waste that we actually collect.
Rick, let's talk a little bit about the fleets, because the energy management and the systems that you're using there with fleets, because fleets are really important when you talk about trying to maximize and use the types of fleets you're doing there. Talk a little bit more about that, because I think when we look at fleets today, we talk about energy conservation. That's really a big thing, I think, for everybody involved in any industry that we're talking about. How important is that today?
Well, it saves us a tremendous amount of money over the long term. Plus, just much more efficient, much greener, much more energy conscious. Compressed natural gas is, I think, the fueling method that we'll use going forward. We're kind of getting away from hybrid trucks right now, which actually it generates energy from braking from stop to stop. So I think that our future, at least in the short term, is going to be all compressed natural gas.
When we look at technology in general, you're looking at your fleets, you look at having to manage a lot of things in the city. I mean, in your city, you have a lot of lakes. I think if I did some research, and you guys have over 100 lakes, correct me if I'm wrong. How do you look at that in managing, using technology to look at things like natural disasters and kind of managing, being proactive in things like that? Because I would think, like just in the fleets we were talking about, trying to manage things that you guys have hurricanes. I mean, we live in Chicago, we deal with a lot of snow, we deal with things differently than you do. But how do you manage things like that in the way you were trying to talk about how you're going to look at how you're going to manage the way fleets go out or things? I would think that all of that has to be tied together with technology and the way you're looking at things as well.
That's correct. In Florida, we get about, on average, about 30 billion gallons of rainfall every year. So we have to manage that rather efficiently too, with recording rain gauges and lake level monitors to via telemetry get that back to our computers, and we can instantaneously tell you what the rainfall intensity is during the storm. So if we have a given input, say the weatherman said there's going to be a storm and there's going to be 3.5 or 4 inches of rain per hour, then we know what that intensity means. We know what that intensity does to our lake levels. So we can anticipate in those lakes that we do have lake level controls on, we can start to implement those.
Is this the same thing what you're describing in a reclamation process that you're using for things like that? Is there technology that's involved in the whole process as well as that?
Well, this is just lake level control and trying to manage our stormwater input and try to manage the lake levels before they become a flooding issue. This really doesn't.
I was going to say, do you use the same type of technology for that? I didn't mean to interrupt, but I mean, do you use this? Is it the same technology that you're using for the reclamation? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, we monitor our lift stations through telemetry, yes. So it is the same sort of communication method. But these are just rain gauging and lake monitoring sites that convey all that information back to a central location.
When you're looking at all of this, what advice, I guess, would you give one city to another about what you've kind of looked at technology? Is there something that you would say that you've learned that you say, this is what we'd give? You know, we understand that it takes, you know, I always say it takes a village, right, to build a city, to use all this technology. Is there one advice you would give another city from all the things that you've learned so far?
I think if I could give any advice, it would be don't be afraid to experiment. I mean, we've done a lot of different things. Some of them have worked, some of them maybe not so well. So we're always trying to be better. So when you're always trying to be better, you're going to fail sometimes. So I would just say, keep trying.
Well, I have to thank you, Rick Howard, Director of Public Works at the City of Orlando. I want to thank you for spending time with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, that's our innovation and infrastructure for today.